and welcome back to this week's episode of the WHAMcast, brought to you by myself, Lou Cooper, and Joel's Chuff Madeline. How are you today, Joel?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself, Lou?
I'm not bad, yeah. Had my last prelim on Monday, so it's...
Oh, that's quite good.
Yeah,
I actually just had my first prelim.
First?
Yeah. Advanced chemistry.
How did it go?
It was alright. It was weird being back in, like, the prelim, like, that sort of, like, high stress, sitting in, like, the rows, but it was alright.
Fair enough.
Hopefully I did okay.
Aye, good.
This week we have some birthday mentions, don't we?
We have some more birthday mentions. We have two birthdays on the same day, actually.
Yeah, so Rachel Tate would like to wish a happy birthday to Maya Bremer, because her birthday is yesterday, which is the 31st, and Maya Bremer would like to wish Rachel Tate a happy birthday, because her birthday is also on the 31st too.
So happy birthdays to Rachel and Maya from Monday the 31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of January, just to clarify, not February.
Okay, well, I mean, Joel, there's only 28 days in February, so...
Okay.
So
That was a bit of a silly comment on my
February,
end.
Right, okay, moving on. This week, we're joined by our third and penultimate Deputy Prefect Group Organisation, and that's William Urquhart, speaking about mental health. Hello, William.
Yeah, I'm back again.
Back again, yeah.
Oh, yeah, second time on.
After we gate crash on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I'm like the leader of mental health.
You are? Just like leader of like mental health in general, or like in Melbourne?
I'm looking to like improve the awareness, I suppose, and the treatment almost of mental health in the school. So
kind of like awareness people have it as well.
Awareness, and then obviously you can go on to treating it better, and it's like stopping that stigma around it being such a bad thing, and just not accepting it, but like teaching people how to help.
Because
whatnot.
I think it's something which we kind of, as a society, it's definitely not recognised as much as it should be.
Yeah, it's something we need to improve on.
And, it's a growing issue.
It is definitely a growing issue, and it comes from kind of old hat stereotypes which people have gone so used to and normalised. But you do need to realise that mental health is something which anyone can speak up about, and you aren't going to be treated differently for speaking up about it, but if anything, it'll help yourself rather than anything else. And I think that's one of the most important things, is that we need to just start talking about it, being open about what's happening in our lives.
I've been speaking to a lot of people from Mikeysline, obviously the suicide awareness charity, and I believe they actually do work in the school now as well. They've got a room, which I think is a pop-in kind of thing.
Yeah, it's down the first floor.
And we are hoping to, after we finish all our prelims, to a few of the departments make us some kind of a mental health awareness day.
Oh yeah,
with the charity.
Quite interesting.
I've spoken to a few people, and I've got like a raffle kind of organised.
Do you know when roughly it would be? 4 weeks time, month, 2, 3?
Hopefully by the end of February. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
This depends when everyone's kind of
I mean, everything's changing,
and obviously restrictions and whatnot. But I'm not obviously sure what we can get, like, as part of it. Like, I've got obviously my raffle, but you can do like a dress down day to obviously raise a bit of money, and I think. I'm not sure yet, but hopefully we get a team to do some announcements.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
We've got the mentoring as well in 6th years as well, which is what everyone, when you decide to be a prefect, everyone could do.
Yeah. And
you're teamed up with an S1 or S2 who is going through a difficult time, and you have to help them by being kind of their support, not being a friend as such, but
it isn't really you need to just help them. You just need to be there for them and kind of support them. I think it's definitely helped a lot of kids over the years, and especially coming out of COVID and stuff, and I know plenty of people personally who've had damage effects to their mental health from having to deal with the complete change of COVID and how we're all locked inside. You can't really speak to anyone for months on end. I think it is really difficult to then kind of go from this isolation every single day to having to go straight back into society.
Yeah, we seem to have had some pretty positive reviews so far.
Yeah, definitely.
From some parents that have spoken up about their child, and so hopefully it just improves, and we keep. Well, I suppose you don't want to be mentoring, because then hopefully we can almost not need to do it, because everyone will be fine. But that's obviously not going to happen. So,
kind of perfect world stuff.
If you get like almost like a training, more like specific training, which I think we tried to look to do, which we went in that day and we were given that PowerPoint. That kind of gives you a rough idea of how to deal with things and what you're going to have to deal with. So, yeah, just all that kind of gets lined up.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of plans for mental health for the mental health group and deal with it in the school for the future. But what would you say is your kind of, if you had an unlimited budget and you could do any involvement in the school, you could create any kind of thing in the school, what would it be? You kind of
like, just to give you just sort of basis, I think like Sustainability did robot bins, and the Quality and Rights did like a nice like IMAX style movie sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
so you've
I think there needs to be like a more like it's hard to do. Like, treatment for mental health is really difficult, but like a room where people could go to.
Yeah.
And there is, I'm pretty sure there is like a room like it, but it's not as readily available to just normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're usually left to put up, but there's not a place where you can go to just sit in quiet and just like listen to music, for example, or just wind down if you need that peace. Or
if you maybe aren't able to get home, or you struggle.
Or we need to, like, obviously there needs to be people that are obviously could be readily available all the time.
Yeah.
Now there isn't. I know there's people in from Mikeysline every so often, but they're just, they're not there all the time. You can't get that continuous support just in case something happens. So something like that. It's difficult to obviously treat mental health with money. So it's like you don't need a budget. You just need time usually.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
I think when you're trying to deal with mental health, the most valuable thing you can do to someone is just listen. You don't need to always offer them every facility in the world or offer them any gift in the world or anything of any monetary value. I think the most valuable, important thing when someone's struggling, especially their mental health, is just listen.
Support and being there.
There's
been quite a few cases recently of like scares. I know I saw there was like a Dundee Coach, and he went missing almost, and he posted these bad things on his Twitter saying like, oh, someone I think broke into his house or something, and he was like, oh, thanks, you've just taken everything I had. That was the last thing I had going from me or something. And then he went missing for like 2 days, and like the whole of Twitter and like Scottish pundits were like reaching out to him, and he had reappeared and he was found, but like that support, he came out saying thanks, like, because he thought he had nothing. He was like, there's no point. But that support does help, and it's noticeable.
Like never, like you said, like not be a point. There's never no point in anyone. There's always something which and maybe if there's a time where you're struggling to find it, then it will take time. But just reach out to your friends, to your peers, to anyone. Like I've known plenty of people who've struggled a lot with mental health issues, and even myself to an extent, I could say definitely over the past couple of years been particularly tough, but. The most important thing is to just speak to people, whether it's find a close family member, a friend, or
There's the Hearts fan as well.
Yeah,
that was another bad one. He was 13.
Yeah,
and the whole thing is it's okay to not be okay.
It's
not a problem if you feel down.
In
go
the
speak
description,
to someone.
Today's episode puts up links of places where you can go get some help, where you can go or you find people to speak to. But honestly, it's. This isn't our usual kind of style to speak, so kind of openly and kind of, not like lowly, but it's kind of like it isn't the same kind of upbeat vibe, but it's something we need to discuss.
It is something that we do need to discuss. It's very important.
There's a massive stigma about mental health, which needs to kind of be evaporated as soon as you can, because
it used to just be, oh, you're fine, just brush it off, move on from it.
Just like suck it up and it'll go away over time. But we're learning now that's not what's happening, and you're like, especially after World War I and World War II, there's a lot of shell shock between soldiers.
Yeah, with PTSD,
and that was one of the toughest things, because people just told them to suck it up and move on. But we're at a point in society now, and a point in time where we don't do that anymore, and we need to kind of promote more positivity and people find it with each other.
Yeah, I think even if you yourself, you think maybe you're not suffering from any mental illness or you're doing quite well, being quite open to other people and letting them know that you're there for them, I think could possibly help. Even
just like, if you think something's wrong, are you all right?
Yeah.
Like just that's enough. That's you helping. That's you giving up your time to see if they're all right, and then that could be the difference between them doing something that they probably shouldn't. You know, it could make them change their thoughts upon themselves.
Yeah, and even if you just be a bit more observant, if somebody all of a sudden they just become quite quiet in the type of social space, and you don't see them as much, maybe to just check on them, just to make sure everything's going all right.
And it is a bit of a problem, obviously, such more in young people as well.
Yeah,
it is, because it's difficult for us.
There's so much pressure on everyone.
Absolutely.
Social media.
Yeah,
People are like they're trying to make themselves appear to people better than they are. Like they're basically being a fake version of themselves, trying to keep this up. And it just it's so like stressful for people. You know?
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and I wouldn't say social media helps at all, but then I'd say it's times where it also does for me. You can outreach and message people.
Yeah,
but a lot of the kind of influencers and stuff on social media, they really push it. It really does damage people's mental health and how they see it and how they the perspective they have of it. But I think it's it isn't something which is going to go away within the next week, within the next month, within the next year, but by just reaching out to someone, I don't think anyone would ever be angry or annoyed, but even just someone just reaching out and asking if everything's okay.
Oh yeah, no, definitely no.
And even if you have any kind of old friends, people you're not as in touch with anymore, reach out, just say hello. But it isn't gonna kill you, and it isn't gonna hurt them either. And for all you know, you could save a life by doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on a slightly more positive note, William, how's your week been?
Yeah, I've been studying, prepping for my prelims as well. So I had the chemistry one today as well as Joel, and that was my second one.
All right.
So I had PE the other week as well. So I've just been studying or trying to.
Yeah, I think that's what most people have been doing.
It's
17-year-olds across the country studying and driving,
and 16-year-olds.
So it's like it's been pretty steady. I'm doing that for the next week now. Just studying, trying to pull some grades together.
I'm all done now.
That must be quite exciting.
It is.
Do you know when you get your results? Or?
No, I don't want to get many results for next week. Business on Monday, that was my last one, but no.
It's nice being at home, getting a break.
It is nice to be at home,
but it's
at the same time, I sort of miss seeing people in class.
Yeah. But then you go to school, no one's in, so it's like you might as well just stay at home, I guess. But
I guess that's also sort of time back to mental health and study leave when you're not really going out as much and you're not really seeing people at school.
Yeah,
that can affect some people.
That was the thing with the lockdown.
Yeah,
no one could see anyone.
Like the first lockdown. This is sound really weird, but Xbox Live helped me
the first
so much.
The first lockdown was good, actually.
Yeah,
because you could
good with it to an extent.
Well,
the first like few months when we didn't have school, like you were just up every night. It was summer.
Yeah, you're up to like 2 a.m. playing.
And when it was summer, it was sunny. The weather was good.
And
it was
and there was like FaceTime as well. You could do group Face. There was that house party.
Which then turned out to be a massive scam. Just there is information.
I never went on it, but I saw the appeal for it.
Yeah.
And then the second one though was just dire.
It was really horrible. I think it was
because it was in the middle of winter.
It was in the middle of winter. It was cold.
Miserable.
It was dark. I think also because we weren't too sure what was happening with exams. They were quite up in the air. And with the first one, we just knew they'd been cancelled. Obviously, there was a bit of uncertainty.
Whereas that one, and we had to, you had to wake up each morning and log into school.
Yeah, they had school straight away, and you had your calls, which I thought was a good idea, but just nobody, like, no one, I think if it was a rule, you had to turn your cameras on. I think at an older age, I understand it would be easier for us.
And like some people are quite self-conscious.
But like even just putting your camera and make attention to this. So because I remember being sat on a call and playing FIFA in the background. Just having a Chromebook set.
Some teachers did really get a hang of it, and they would start to. But I would think back to like first years. Yeah. I don't know what they do on those calls. I remember speaking to some teachers about it. They said it was difficult. Like they'd sit on a call and say nothing, and I'm like, you can't help that.
Because first and second year is such an important time in making friends and stuff. I'm kind of close to people, but you don't have that. Or this year's first years and second years, they haven't had that to the same extent that we had. They were getting to know people, and locked inside for a couple of months, and then you start getting to know people again, and then chuck back inside for another couple of months, and it's so strange to.
So they've lived a very digital life. They haven't got out much at all, and you can
and kind of making friends over social media can be good and bad. I think is what a lot of people have learned
internet
past
awareness,
months as well.
One pretty memorable video I think it was Mr. Miller's. He's an old physics teacher last year.
Call, yeah.
It was at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which meant everyone was quite weary, but he'd get us to do stuff like draw a picture of us, draw a picture of like a rocket.
Yeah, he had us like turning our cameras on and getting us
physics,
into.
Yeah?
Yes,
he would get us to like interact, and he'd like get us like he would get us instead of saying it, just write it on paper, and then we could say it if we wanted to.
Yeah,
but like. It was getting you to turn your cameras on, which a lot of classes didn't do. And I could see why. Obviously, you didn't want to. Cause
some people can be quite self-conscious. It's their
house,
home.
and so it's like, but not talking is a different one. I mean, for the teachers, it's probably difficult just speaking to black squares as well.
Yeah,
so.
Can you imagine? Like, it's I don't see kids in front of you. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know how they're interacting. But I definitely say that it was an experience which we'll probably no one will ever really experience to the same extent again. And I think it's only something which we'll ever be able to relate to. All of our kids,
and it'll be studied. It'll be studied in 100.
So who knows? Advance our history in like 20 years.
Well,
maybe a bit longer.
For like science class history, it has to be 10 years old. Because there's like some schools who are now studying 9/11, and
that's quite interesting.
Like Iraq War, and like Bush and everything, and
Al-Qaeda and that,
and that's now being taught us. Like people are doing that.
I just like we're so far into this century now. It hurts my head.
Yeah.
Like the next, I found out the other day the next first years are born 2010.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and I was like. I couldn't get my head
because there's like
that.
some like YouTube series and kind of TV series that I found out that the first years were younger than. And that scared me. That like scared me up.
Monsters Inc.'s like 20 years old now.
Wow.
That was my one. I can believe that.
Yeah. What was the other one? It was one that really scared me. It was I can't remember now, but it was another Disney movie, and I was like,
Toy Story's a pretty old one. It might be.
I think that's like 1990. Something 8,
yeah, I think
it's an old one.
But no, it's crazy just how time flies. And you're only again hating to sound like a kind of broken record of kind of corny American stereotypes, but you are only a young person once, and so it is you got to live all experiences once you have them. But it is crazy how time just flies. Like this time next year, doing your path, going to uni, half people doing their own things next year, and. You won't have to.
World.
You won't have the life of going into school and mess about in registration for 10 minutes in the morning, and then going off to class, and then doing work for another 2 hours, and then going buy a bit of toast for 40p.
Or those bagels.
Or the bagels, of course, and then do like another 2 hours work, and then going to a van behind a fence and buying an overpriced pie, and then that's it, and then going home 2 hours after that, and you won't ever have anything like that again.
Yeah, which is why it's quite weird to say this, and some people might critique me for this, but I'm quite glad we're back in school for this last couple of terms. Last 2 terms.
It is good to be back.
Yeah, I kind of start to miss school. In the second lockdown, I did miss it because you just felt like you were just doing endless homework because they obviously couldn't get you to do work because you couldn't do a FaceTime class every day of the week, so you were doing kind of work set to a deadline, and it was so difficult. I remember it was so hard to get everything done, and that was what really I think challenged everyone's mental health is getting stuff done. Some just took it on the chin and didn't do it because teachers obviously can't come to your house and chase you up.
I know.
But like trying to keep on top of it, knowing that we were getting a test at the end of the year, like it was difficult.
It was quite difficult.
But and it really does make you like people who are in third and but probably like what I'd say is like especially for like years like third year, you really appreciate it once it's gone. And because first and second year, you've got your kind of set timetables and stuff. But third year, you're picking your subjects going to. For me, third year is probably one of the best years of my life.
I would agree.
Third year is so
because
good.
I was getting to study what I wanted to do. I didn't have exams, and it was such a nice year. And honestly, for anyone who's in it right now or going into it in the next couple of years, cherish it.
What I always liked at the end of second and third year were the classes that you knew you weren't taking.
Yes.
That last kind of 8 weeks. You would kind of do the work, but you just like
you knew that it was never.
You just put the feet up.
Like if there was something like you were really, really struggling in that subject, and you knew you weren't taking it next, so you don't think you'd take it at all.
Condone that. You should try in every class.
Yeah.
You know, like just like for like if any members of SMT or anything's listening to this episode, we do condone that you do all the work in all your classes. However,
definitely.
bump it down a few gears towards the end. But no, anyway, thank you very much, William, for coming on.
Yeah.
And as we've
pleasure as always.
As always, we'll probably end up have you on a third time. You can get the hat trick of WHAMcast appearances.
Oh yeah, are we going to ask him the desert island question?
Well,
I did it.
Yeah,
he's already been on. So
yeah, we asked him last time. Yeah, do I have any other questions for you? If you could watch one film on a desert island for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Shawshank Redemption is pretty good.
Oh,
it's got to be that one. I think
has
at the
to be up
moment.
there, Shawshank.
It's one of the best films. That or probably a long one. You go Endgame, maybe that's a long one.
Oh
Good
yeah,
4 hours.
that's a good one.
But it does mean you have to watch.
Yeah, you
Tony
can
Stark
only
die.
watch.
But
I was like too like far too like emotionally attached.
Shawshank Redemption's got a good ending to it.
Yeah, it does. Andy Dufresne.
Yeah, once again, thanks for joining us today, Will.
Thank you very much,
no
Will.
worries.
And as we said, it is okay to not be okay, and please speak out to anyone or
guidance teachers.
Yeah, we've got the email here, whamcastpodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out to us and we will listen as well. But on that bombshell, I'll see you soon, Top Gear. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Another episode.
Oh yeah, and it's our 10th anniversary special.
It is. We're entering double digits next week. Okay, so we'll see you all then.
Thanks for listening.
Guys. Bye. Bye.